everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and I run the blog The Lass in Linen. I just thought I'd do a really quick introduction to my video today. So I'm going to be vlogging this weekend. It's the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. It's currently just about 10 to 11 and it doesn't start until 1 o'clock. So I just really quickly wanted to introduce this video and say that I am participating this weekend. I think it's a good opportunity to get some of the books read off my TBR. I have 6 books on my pile, but really I'm only planning and hoping to read 3. If I read 3 books in the next 24 hours, I will be very happy. I don't currently have the books with me right now because I want to tell you about them as I read them. So I will show you that later. For any of you who may not be familiar with the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, it's a really simple readathon. It's not like the 24 and 48 where the goal is to read for 24 hours in a 48-hour period. I've tried to do those before and my body just does not work that way. I need my sleep. So it's not like that. It's a 24-hour period that is worldwide. It starts at the same time for everybody. So like I said, I'm in the UK, so it starts at 1 o'clock for me, which would be, say if I was back where I am from, it would be about 5 o'clock in the morning. So like on the west coast of Canada, it'll start at 5 o'clock, it'll be 1 o'clock in the UK. So depending on your time change, but we all start at the same time and we all end at the same time. And the goal is just to kind of read as much as you can in 24 hours. You don't have to read for 24 hours. So yes, I have 6 books that I have set aside for this specific readathon. Like I said, I don't plan on reading 6 books. If I read half of those, I will be so proud of myself because I don't usually read 3 books in 24 hours. So yeah, I'll be happy with that. I guess there's really not much more than that to say other than welcome to my channel if you've never been here before, and welcome to the readathon. Hello everyone, welcome back. So it is 5 minutes to 1. I am in my reading, sorry, my cat, Sylvie, that's not for kittens, Sylvie. I am in my reading spot for the next few hours. I've got my snacks, I've got a glass of water, and I've got all the books beside me, as well as my cat. And I wanted to show you the first book I am going to be reading for the readathon. And that is Sean Tan's Tales from the Inner City. I've seen this in a variety of different sections in the bookstore, so I don't really know how to describe this. I don't know if it's a graphic novel or a children's book or just an illustrated book, but it's got lots of really beautiful illustrations and there is writing, there is a story to go along with it. I'm just trying to find a page to show you that I think you'll find interesting. So as you can see, this is an illustrated page and then there is writing and some writing with illustrations. So yeah, it's a really beautiful book. So that is going to be the book I start with today. I don't know how long it's going to take me to read. I'm assuming about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because on the pages where there are words, there are quite a few. Usually. So we'll have to see, but I'm looking forward to it. This one's been sitting on my TBR for a long time, so I am looking forward to reading it. And then I've got a pile of books beside me. I'm not going to show you though because I want to introduce, like I said, and yeah, I'm going to get reading and I'll probably check in with you when I finish the first book. Hello everybody, it is some time later now. It's about 5:20, so it's quite a bit later. I ended up reading most of my first book and then I lay down for a nap because I was exhausted. And then I Skyped with my friend. So yeah, it's been some time, but I have finished the first book for this readathon. So I finished, let me just get it because it's quite heavy, Tales from the Inner City by Sean Tan. I really enjoyed this. I can see why there is some confusion with how to categorize this book. It's not quite a graphic novel, but I also, like, I don't really think it's a kid's book. It deals with some quite adult ideas, although you could read this to kids. But there is a bit of gore in there. The book is essentially about the relationship between humans and animal and landscape, and the positives and negatives of that. So it tackles things like the care that people take of nature and the lack of care that people take of nature, and farms and food, like the eating of meat and food processes and nightmares and dreams and the dependency between animals and humans, and at the same time like the complete lack of regard for animals by humans. And it also tackles ideas of, like, you know, who was here first? Obviously it was the animal. Do we have any right to change the landscape, force them out of their home? So it tackles some really big ideas, but it does it in a really beautiful way. They're more like a collection of short stories or vignettes is what I would say. So it's not a through story. Each one deals with a different animal and has its own setting, has its own plot. I guess, yeah, plot if you want to call it. They're all very, very short stories, and there are lots of illustrations, but it is a beautiful book. It is very well done, and I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to give it 4 stars, I think. So that is the first book done, and then the second book I'm going to be reading once I finish dinner is a Nancy Drew book. So it's a middle grade Nancy Drew book, and it's one of the originals. It's The Mystery at Lilac Inn. I have the first 5 of these original Nancy Drew books, so this is the 4th one. I've read the first 3 in the past kind of year, and I chose these Nancy Drew books because they're super short, the text is really big, there's illustrations throughout them, and I can usually get them read in a couple hours. So I'm hoping to get through this before bed tonight. Like I said, I have dinner, which is, the oven's preheating, and I think I might do some yoga with Mr. Smith later this evening. But other than that, my plan is to read. So this is the next book. I think it's 180-ish pages. Yeah, it's around 180 pages, so it should be good to go. But yeah, so far it's successful, well, semi-successful. I was kind of hoping to have read more by now, but I really needed to get some sleep. For anybody who didn't watch my old YouTube channels, I am a type 1 diabetic. So yeah, I have a condition, and I had some troubles with my blood sugars last night, and it usually takes about 24 hours for my body to readjust. And I had some pretty high blood sugars last night, so I was feeling it this afternoon, had to get some sleep. It happens. I'm not gonna feel guilty about it. But I am hoping to finish my second book today, maybe even start my third book tonight. That might be a little bit overly ambitious, but we'll see. I do know what I'm going to read next, but we'll see. We'll see. I just need to get through this first. Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday. I I just woke up recently, as you can probably tell, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update because I didn't update you last night. I did end up finishing the Nancy Drew book, which was good. There were a few things that didn't make a whole lot of sense as far as the resolution of the mystery goes, but I think given that it's a kids lit mystery written in the 1930s or 40s, I can probably forgive it a little bit. But I did finish that, and I didn't vlog last night because it just got like way too late. So I'm vlogging this morning while I have my coffee, and I'm gonna try and make this a little bit quick because my battery is dying, so you need to be charged. But before I fell asleep last night, I started my third book. So I'm about 50 pages into Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I've actually never read this one before. I've seen like 3 or 4 adaptations, so I know how it ends, but I've never read the book, and I'm a huge fan of kind of the golden age mystery writers, and Agatha Christie, I think, like for a lot of people, was the first one that I was really exposed to. So I started this last night. I got 53 pages in. So that is my plan for the rest of the readathon. It's just after 8 right now. I woke up really late this morning. I usually get up quite early, but it was a late night last night. So I woke up really late this morning. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit in any other books today, especially because I don't know if I'll read all the way till the end of the readathon at 1 o'clock. I might, but I'm not counting on it. So my goal is just to hopefully finish this by 1 o'clock, and then I will have read 3 books in the last 24 hours, which is great because I didn't exclusively read for 24 hours, so I still think that's really successful. But that is the goal. I'm now going to go and read in the living room, and I'm going to charge you up, and I will check in with you later. I am done with my third book, finally. I have finished the readathon. Technically, technically there's still an hour left of the readathon, but I'm actually going to stop now. There's no way I'm going to read another book in an hour, and although I could keep reading another book just to see how far I get, I kind of feel like doing something else. So I'm going to be finishing the readathon an hour early, but I finished Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, and I thought to wrap up the readathon I'd just give you a little wrap up of what I read, what I thought. I know you guys are watching this video, but I thought it might be a good way to end it. So Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie is about a murder that happens on the Orient Express, which was a very popular train line through Europe. And this is a Hercule Poirot mystery. I'm not going to say much more about it. I think a lot of people know, if not what it's about, then what happens, because there's been quite a few adaptations. There was one that came out either last year or the year before with Kevin Branagh in it. I am partial to the David Suchet Poirot adaptation, but I am partial to David Suchet just playing Poirot. He is Poirot forever to me. I did really enjoy this one, but like I said earlier, I've seen 3 or 4 different adaptations of this, so I was very familiar with the ending. It was interesting being able to read this, knowing the ending, and seeing the little clues and hints kind of add up along the way. I think I'm going to give this one a 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I recently read an Agatha Christie called Murder in Mesopotamia, which I adored. And so this one didn't fully hold up for me. I don't know if that maybe would have changed if I didn't know the ending, if I would have liked it more or maybe even less. But it was a solid 3.5. It's still a really good book. I would still recommend it if you haven't read Agatha Christie before. It's also a really good place to begin with. So that is the last book I read. And then I read, or I guess before that, I read The Mystery at Lilac Inn. This is a Nancy Drew book written under the pseudonym of Carolyn Keene, and this is another mystery, although this is middle grade. So I got through this quite quickly because it is middle grade, and the font is really big. I don't know if you can see that, but the font's really big, and there are illustrations throughout it. So this is a really easy read. It hasn't aged particularly well. Nancy Drew books don't. I think it's important to read them in their context and learn from the mistakes. They can be slightly racist, and there's definitely a lot of body shaming going on, which is not good. So just learn from that. I mostly read Nancy Drew books now because I read them as a kid. They were kind of my entryway into the murder mysteries that I love now, with the Golden Age mysteries, reading Agatha Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers and authors of that kind. For those who don't know, Carolyn Keene is actually a pen name for a bunch of different writers. So very few of the books are actually written by the same person. But they all write under the same name for this series. This book is about Nancy and her friend Helen, who go to visit their friend Emily's new inn that she and her fiance have bought. They are about to get married. They're hoping to launch this inn to raise money for their marriage, and strange things start to happen. I did enjoy this. It's probably about a 3-star. It wasn't the best Nancy Drew I've ever read, but it wasn't awful. It was entertaining enough, and I did enjoy it. Like I said, it's really nostalgic for me, so I do tend to pick those up. And the first book that I read, but the last one I'm going to show you, is Tales from the Inner City by Shaun Tan. This was definitely the most successful read of this readathon for me. The illustrations are unreal. I want to show you one that I didn't show earlier, because there's just like, they're just really beautiful. Yeah, like I love this. This is just a sunset, but I love the colors of that. And there's another one with a cherry blossom. I think it's a cherry blossom tree. There it is. Like I'm covering that. It's just a really beautiful book. I loved the short stories. I think I briefly mentioned this yesterday, but each short story deals with a different type of animal, and all the stories have kind of similar themes throughout them. It's about how humans interact with nature and how they interact with animals, the pros and cons, like the negatives and positives of what we've done to nature and animals, and how we take care of it and how we don't. I like that the relationships are shown to be quite complex, but at the same time they do show quite simple resolutions as well, without being preachy or even like too straightforward, too obvious. So I really enjoyed this. This is a 4-star for me, and yeah, I'm really happy that I read this, and this is off my TBR. I am really happy with the outcome of the readathon. My goal was kind of 3 books, and not only does that bring me up to double digits for the books that I've read this month, but it just knocks a few more books off my TBR, which is always good. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not sure how exciting it is. It's been a very low-key weekend, and obviously we are on lockdown, so I'm not doing too much. I was literally just reading for this video, but I am hoping to do some at-home vlogs soon. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. If you did enjoy this video, and if you enjoy my channel, it would be really great if you could support me by liking the video or commenting or subscribing. If you're not already subscribed, you can also do a mixture of those things if you'd like. Thank you again for joining me for my readathon weekend. Let me know down in the comments if you participated in the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, and whether you did or didn't. I would love to know what you read over the weekend. That is kind of all from me today, so I hope you guys had a lovely weekend. I hope you're having a lovely week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!